Good morning. This is Dr. Tim Hines. We are in the middle, or pretty much in the middle of our fast as a church. Last time I was with you, I began to share with you some of what was taking place in Matthew 17. What had happened was a father brought an epileptic child to Jesus. And actually to his disciples first and then to Jesus. And his disciples couldn't deal with the demonic presence in this child's life. And Jesus said some very interesting things. And what I want to encourage you to really believe for through the course of this fasting and prayer time is for the authority of God in your life, for the fruit of the Spirit in your life, for a more tangible relationship with the Holy Spirit. Because I got a feeling that probably will go a long way in our walk with God. But what happened is Jesus told his disciples the reason you couldn't deal with this is because of your unbelief. And as the storyline went on to share with us, he deals with the epileptic spirit, and it is a spirit. It's a spirit of infirmity. A woman in Ohio came to an altar, and basically the altar call wasn't even given for any type of epileptic deliverance or anything of that sort. But as soon as I laid hands on her, I discerned that that she had this spirit in her, and I cast it out. And she's not had a seizure now for about 7 years. So these are spirits of infirmity, but really the believer has an authority, and that's really what I want to focus on in this second segment. And Jesus basically said that when you fast and pray, there are certain things that will come out of you. And what will take place is there's a faith that will take the place of an unbelief, and that will come out of you. And we'll talk about that in just a minute, as well as an authority. That will also come out of you as well when you fast and pray, because Jesus said this type of spirit doesn't come out of people but by prayer and fasting. So not only does unbelief get taken the place of with faith, but also the demonic spirit is dealt with through authority. And that's really what we want to strive on, what we want to focus on and believe for. When you spend time with the Holy Spirit, especially when you're consecrated in a time of putting your flesh down, it's not a time to afflict your soul. This is not a time to be miserable. This is a time to really focus on the fruit of the Spirit and how they will enhance and grow you and mature you. So this is really a time to be developed in the fruit of the Spirit. And this is faith is part of the fruit of the Spirit. And there's so much I could say about faith, its character, its nature, its influence. And really, I got a feeling that as the more we fast and pray through the course of this time, the influence of the Spirit, the influence of the nature of God, the influence of the fruit of the Spirit will become that much more tangible in our lives than than any other time. Joel chapter 2 and verse 12 says that when you fast and pray, it draws your heart towards God. And also Hebrews chapter 3 and verse 19 says that Israel never really entered into their rest. And they didn't do it because they didn't understand the nature of faith. The nature of faith will lead you into rest. And I pray that what's happening through the course of this time of fasting and prayer is that you're finding victory. Victory over thought, victory over feelings, victory over conditions that might exist in your life because of the influence of the Holy Spirit as you consecrate yourself to Him and renounce the nature of your carnal man. So expect the love of God to blow up real big in your heart through the course of this time. I'm talking about the not only the agape love of God, the unconditional love of God, but the eros and the phileo and the storge type of love, where love towards your spouse and towards your children and to your common man, whether it be at work or at church, just takes on a different influence because you're putting your flesh and the nature of your flesh down, and the nature of the Spirit is rising up and starting to govern your life out of the influence of the fruit of the Spirit. Expect the peace of God to be off the hook during this time, because the Holy Spirit will bring assurance and bring confidence and bring faith to you that you are who God says you are. You are a child of God. And this is what happens when you begin to renounce your flesh and you begin to bring forth the nature of God. in this time of consecration. The joy of the Lord is your strength, and long-suffering and gentleness and meekness, temperance, goodness, and faith. These are all fruits of the Spirit. So I encourage you to stay strong through the time of your fasting and prayer, and believe for unbelief to go, faith to come, and for authority to arise in your life. God bless you.